Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms. Really want to thank each and every person that has subscribed to the channel. Go ahead and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Special shout out to our Patreon family and, of course, everyone that supports us through love donations on PayPal. We appreciate, love you so much, and it really enables us to just continue to do what we do, and to really the spiritual conversations that happen on there are absolutely something I treasure. Yeah. So, lots going on, beloveds, and there's a lot of questions and there's a lot of awakening. There's a lot of information out there. We are truly in the age where the mind becomes set free, and that is the most important thing. We move from the age of emotion, which was more of an water age, to the age of the mind, which is more of an air age. Thoughts. They say that things you can't see, but seriously, as you get higher on these levels, you can literally hear other people's thoughts, and now you understand why the Babylon system just can't survive in the higher ethers, beloveds. Because if you saw their thoughts, they don't want people to see their thoughts of the things they do to children and, just the whole vampire culture. And that's why they just can't get there, because the higher you go, the purer you have to be, because it's then literally like an open book, anyone can see your intention, can feel your intention. And so you have to purify your intention as much as possible, which is why I always say, work on yourself, make that the priority, for real, for real, for real. So 7 things that I believe, the top 7 things that I believe are holding back Africa's unity, the great reunification of our people. And the first one I would say is the fact that we do not know our history, our story. Right now we're in history, history, but we don't know our story. We don't know the fact that this is a global melanated planet. We don't understand the fact that, we had kingdoms and nations for tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, that, we are the mothers and fathers of nearly every single invention. We don't know our story. And so that alone means that we have a very shaky foundation. And that's why we're always seeking, because we don't know. And so people will look and will seek anything out that will give them some semblance of truth, which is why the Babylon Matrix mixed so much of the truth with lies, just mixed it all up so that the truth would always pull you emotionally. And this thing of like having a torchlight in the darkness has been really tough for some souls, has been really tough for some spirits, but that's one of the things that we don't understand, who we are, how great the kingdoms are, even the most recent kingdoms, from the pyramids to Timbuktu to all the great institutes, to where we used to have our sacred shrines, and the powers of our people. So much, as I said before, has been hidden from us. But that is one of the main things, is that we don't know our story. And so already a bunch of people are super confused. Like the majority of people are in his story, and they're relying, because the story makes the foundation. They always say you have to know where you're coming from in order to know where you're going. So it's a really important part of the whole equation. And if we miss that, then already, for the weaker souls, it's hard to really find your bearings, because you're always trying to find, a place to belong. A story gives you a belonging, beloveds. And with the next thing, this ignorance of our past leads to a lot of confusion. There's a lot of confusion among us about who we are. Did all Black people come from Africa? Maybe originally, like 1,000,000 years ago, when the mothers were birthing the nations. Maybe then. But this is a melanated planet. We were everywhere. And the greatest deception that we've been told is that we all came from Africa. And so they're able to really exaggerate and use the spirit of their story to kind of disinherit us. Because our brothers and sisters, as I said, they were everywhere. They're still everywhere. in India, in China, there's black people everywhere, beloveds, natives, indigenous people, Australia, and many are suffering a terrible fate because they've tried to really disinherit us by making us feel like, okay, you were from Africa, everyone came from Africa, and then we took you people like to, and we made you slaves, and we did this and we did that with the help of our own people. They didn't have the power to do that, but they've used this story to mash us down over and over and over again. And so this confusion about the fact that this is a melanated planet. We had kingdoms everywhere and queendoms everywhere, beloveds. And so, you're the rightful ruler of the nation you find yourself in. So that confusion is really, really detrimental because it really disinherits us. Because if you don't know who you are, then, I mean, what else is there? You don't even know what you should be claiming or what is rightfully yours. And so the next thing, beloveds, is the fact that these African countries that we have, first of all, I know the name Africa is not the original name. And there's a lot of discussion about what the name should be. And I really believe the right name will come with the right power, because there's power in the name. It has to have a certain vibration to kind of match. Maybe there's a reason why there's so much debate on those past names, because they're not the name of the future Africa, which is a name we will baptize and anoint this Eden with. You know what I mean? And so that thing of like the fact that we've kept Africa and we've kept these countries, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and a lot of us are, we're still in the colonial system. If you look at the fact that most British colonies, ended their whole colonialism with the Lancaster Papers, which means like we had to beg the Mzungu for freedom in his freaking House of Parliament. So, I mean, and there's some great shows that have been done on that, but when we were never free, just like the French were never free. We were moved right into the Commonwealth, The British were more subtle about it, but the French, they even still had the colonial tax going. Like that's zero chills, beloveds. And so these countries are like spiritual signatures. Why do you think they went to Berlin and actually carved out? It wasn't just a carving, beloveds. They didn't just carve out the countries. There's some rituals they did. Best believe there's some certain rituals they did over those names and over those nations. And then their ancestors told them about how they had to come and displace our shrines and put their shrines and bury the ones who went there originally there over those shrines so that they could overlay. And they've overlaid this place with all these foreign countries that we are so proud of. I'm proud to be Kenyan, I'm proud to be Ugandan, all these things. And it's their signature. It has their vibration because it was a figment of their imagination. So that's one of the things that really, really blocks us, beloveds. That really, really mashes us up. Is keeping these, and it keeps us from knowing our kingdoms, because the longer we've kept these nations, the more, the original kingdoms, their names, their traditions are fading away. And we've been reduced mentally to tribes, beloveds. And I'll do a separate show on the insult of tribes, that name. And so all of this, we have to take the blanket that has been, the veil that has been put on Africa off, on Zion off, on Eden off. Because that is one of the spells that is on our people. And that leads me to the next thing. But let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to the Dr. Mumbi's spiritual show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. Thanks to everyone that has subscribed to this channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure they haven't unsubscribed you as well. And today we're talking, Ask Dr. Mumbi. We're looking at, I got a lot of questions of why are we stuck? Why are we so stuck as an African people? And it's all because we're mentally stuck, beloveds, in this quagmire. And I've looked at this from several different angles, but today I wanted to look at I kind of put a list together of the 7 things that I feel are holding us back. I mentioned a couple of them before the break, and that country one is deep because they created these countries, and who knows what they did in Berlin, what kind of spells. And that leads me to the next one, the fact that they have overlaid spells using our lowest magic over the continent, beloveds, and they're always looking for certain priesthood bloodlines to try and finish them off. I mean, they always used to. And there's a lot, even about the Bible, beloveds, because if you really go deep, the sun is not S-O-N, it's S-U-N, and it's a whole journey about ascension. It's not about a man, told in stories and parables. So if you look at it deeply, it's all about the cosmos, beloveds. But those are definitely stories for the days. And there's books that have been done. I briefly perused through something called the Bible Code. But if you go deeply, you'll see that the Bible is not about, the physical stories we're told. But that is been told to us at such a basic level and then tweaked and manipulated like they're doing with all of history. So, the way it reaches us is like something that's just really a fantasy and a fairy tale. But if you really go deep, it talks about how you go from being a lower man to a higher man, especially this. Yeah. Anyway, maybe I'll get into that in a future episode. So there are spells, beloveds, that have been put by the Alex Crowleys of their world that were kind of overlaid over our, over our continent. And our seers talked about it. Our seers talked about how, when they warned of these butterflies that would come and kind of entice our people, but, they were only there for a season, but they would really, have that trickster spirit. One of the things they said is that, there would be a veil of sleep that would be put over our people. And then once the veil of sleep was put over our people, then these people would enter. I'm now wondering who put the veil of sleep. Was it our own architects or was it theirs? Because I'm really now starting to see they're not as powerful as we've always given them credit for. And sometimes we boost them too much, beloveds. We boost them. We make them Supermans just by all the attention and emotion that we give them. Because our attention is power. And that's one of the things we've been told. You see, life has been made so complex and theatrical and theoretical, that we miss the whole freaking point. And so for us, there's nothing, there are certain rituals we will have to do. We will have to rebuild our destroyed shrines, etc., and commune and honor Mama Nature. There are certain things we'll have to do, but just by us rising up and knowing ourselves and working on ourselves and elevating ourselves, those spells fall off because we keep rising higher and higher. And the thing about these spells, beloveds, is it also controls the gates. There are melanated gates to other kingdoms that there's constant war and battle at. And it's because we're vibing so low that we were disinherited. And they're not able to penetrate, like if you even look just at the basic story of what's happening with Antarctica, how they've gone, and they say just beyond the Antarctica wall, there's like different worlds, beloveds, etc. So they control the gates. As I told you, I'm right next to a major gate right here at Mount Zion. And the gates are along the ley lines. I'm right on the equator, beloveds. Right at the middle of the world. Interesting. So that's one of the things. And that we take that for granted. And that the fact that we enter their churches and participate in their rituals, their blood rituals of drinking the blood of Christ and eating the body of... we are taking on literally the flesh and the body of something that we don't know about, a character that they have literally created. And of course, another one that we all know is language, beloveds. I mean, it's great that through this language we can now communicate across the globe as a melanated people, but we do leave some people out because there are French brothers and sisters who we're not as connected to. And then, even on the continent, now if you go into the Portuguese brothers and sisters who we're not connected to. You see, before we communicated telepathically in different ways, beloveds. But now this whole Babylon system really came to separate us, where I can't hear your thoughts anymore. So, did we even think in a language? Anyway, let's not get too deep into that. But we can't hear each other anymore because now we're using foreign tongues, and those foreign tongues divide us. It's like a Tower of Babel situation. Really. And so language is one of the things, and I mean, it's something that will have to be restored, beloveds. And it's very important for us to restore one of our African tongues. But as we're moving towards that, it's more important that we restore ourselves spiritually, because then the language thing would be sorted out. If we restore ourselves spiritually, we'll be able to connect and communicate spiritually, even when we don't understand each other's languages. And, I've had such mystical experiences when I used to live in Switzerland. And I met, our brothers and sisters from places like Easter Island, where they have those huge melanated faces. And, he spoke Spanish, I spoke English, but somehow we communicated. And there was a lot that was shared about his experience there. And we realized how, similar we are. Same thing with people, because I used to do all these conferences. Same thing with people. When you meet melanated people from wherever, there's a heart-to-heart connection. Or even, if you bring one of our diaspora brothers and sisters to the heart of the village, and they meet, a Kikuyu elder, there's still that heart-to-heart connection, beloveds. But you see, because we focus so much on the physical, we, that heart-to-heart, it's not fully there. It doesn't flow on the group level. But that is something like, before we restore that physically with teaching all our children Kiswahili or whatever, we need to first reestablish that spiritually and realize we communicated with telepathy. But you see, to communicate with our thoughts, beloveds, you also have to have a certain purity so that you're not embarrassed of your thoughts. You're not trying to hide your thoughts. And that's why it all comes back to, you have to work on yourself. I don't even know what number I'm on at this point, but the next one is the white savior complex, of course. And it's really, really detrimental to see your oppressor as your survivor, not even your survivor, your Messiah, your savior. That's what I meant. To see your oppressor as your savior is a great, that just is a great chasm, beloved. That's a great handicap to walk around with. And you see, to break out of that religious psychosis, you have to be spiritually strong. You have to be courageous. The strength will come, but you have to first be courageous. Because that will just always keep you so far from who you really are. And of course, the final one, and this could even have been the first one, they're not in any specific order, is unresolved anger. I think because, there's this veil of sleep and we don't fully know each other's stories, and our stories have been erased and mashed up and mixed up. And, our ancient ones took a vow of silence, so there's so much that's not known. There's a lot of, how do I put this? There's a lot of unresolved anger, because we all feel subconsciously like something happened before we got into this situation with the Mzungu. And so, and then there's the anger about, your people sold our people to slavery, and your people did this to us, I mean, here, the Kikuyus will say that other tribes, sided with the British and were really responsible for all of this and that. So there's still that animosity and anger. And this unresolved anger has been exaggerated exponentially by the Muzungu telling our story. And so he's always keeping us in this divide and conquer. And so we're always looking at each other suspiciously, etc., etc. And it's a big deal, beloved. And I think what we have to decide is all of it is hearsay for now. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things now. We have to find a way to forgive and resolve that anger. And many of us are carrying generational anger. So we have to find a way to resolve and release that generational anger and know that you'll get the answers. Justice will be, served. No one's getting away with anything. Everything has been recorded in the living book of life, beloveds. But that unresolved anger really keeps us from what we need right now, which is unity. And we can't be united with everyone. But you see, when you're going into something with anger, you kind of just bunch everyone together. So I'll hear African sold, Judah, and there's no, Hebrews in Africa. I mean, I'll hear all kinds of stories, but it's all coming from a place of anger. But you have to come from a place of peace and joy to really operate in any kind of true power and to be able to even discern, because we're all mixed up, beloveds. And I was even told about Kenya, and I've been meaning to go. Let me see if I even have time to go into this. No, I don't. I definitely have to tell the story of Kenya. I will. Soon and very soon. Until next time. Tuko pamoja.